All right. Let's see, what did I miss? And I'll also give you guys a shot at a special look at NDI leash right there. Yes, indeedy. It's it would be wireless, but it's a leash. Remember, it's a leash. All right. So what did I miss here in chat? Show is going to the dogs. Yes, doggy treats. Absolutely, doggy treats in the post show. Next show is going to the reptiles. Oh, goodness. That must be Scott. Let's see. Merle's here. Hey, Merle. Micro has a thing on Facebook where his dog makes comments about his biped. Ah, that's good. NDI reptile. Yes, absolutely. Don't worry, Tom. We'll make snide comments about you until you return. Oh, it's good to have friends. Good to have friends. Bribing the dog. Yeah, actually, Rooney was pretty cooperative. It was probably me that blew the first couple takes. All right. So we will, obviously, this is, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but this is a spoof. This is a spoof. This is not a real app. If you're watching from New Tech, this is not a real app. You don't have to put it on your website. It's okay. NDI compatible. And it is pink lemonade. Yes, spoof. That's right, Tommy, I forgot. You, like me, grew up in Alabama. A spoof is a joke. Bring back Rooney. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Bring back Rooney. Good old Rooney. Okay, let's see. How are we doing time-wise here? Let's bring in a time code, shall we? And put it in the right spot. Maybe we'll get lucky the first time out. Well, that's close enough. Then just say joke. I was confused. Yeah. Okay, so who we got? We got Tommy, guest 422. Welcome, 422. Glad to have you here. Is 422 like your area code or the first three digits of your zip code? Or is it just, a number you came up with? Oh, Martin's here. Hey, Martin. Off of holiday. Merle's here. Scott is here. By the way, Scott is NDI Reptile. E. Ford is Edward. Step Back in Time TV is Giles, Dave, Rudy, and Lassie. Now, Lassie, you got me on that one. Who are we missing that would have a sense of humor to name themselves Lassie? NDI Reptile will bridge the gap between reptile and video. That's great. Poor Panasonic. They are going to be just teased. I mean, everybody's going to be sending them pictures of their pets. And they're going to go, what? With stuff around their collar. I thought a spoof was something Rooney left around the yard. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Rooney probably would think that too. Although Rooney did get a treat. So he behaved nicely and he got a treat. He's a very well-behaved puppy. Very well-behaved puppy. The thing about Jack Russells, if you have them or know people that have them, is they're high-energy dogs. So they have to have a job. If they don't have a job, they'll find a job. And so our job is to find them a job. And their job is to, sorry about this, Scott, but their job is to chase the lizards around the backyard. And they're generally pretty good at their job. Except when they kill one and it sits out there for a week and then they roll in it. Then they don't have a good job. But that's okay. That's a topic for a different show. That'll be on something that really stinks. Yeah. If you didn't already know it, we'll talk about it this briefly during the show. vMix has released another new upgrade. We're up to .92. Let's make a note of that in the show notes. Which apparently fixed a bug that was accidentally introduced in 91 or discovered at 91. And then there is there is a new desktop capture for Mac that's due out shortly. So if you're Mac folks, keep an eye out on that, because there was an issue with that. We will be able to find out now thanks to NDI Leash. That's right, NDI Leash. Would be the way to do it, wouldn't it? Let's see who else might have shown up. Nope, so far so good. Let's do a little tweet here and tell folks that releasing NDI Leash. I think that'll do it. Okay. Jerry's here. Welcome, Jerry. Glad to have you. Rich is here. Welcome, Rich. Glad to have you. Chris is here. Welcome, Chris. Glad to have you. For those of you that are here early, let me see if I can get a cam set up for this. Should have one here somewhere. I think it's this one right here. Yeah. You can get a good look at NDI Leash right there. Yes. Any semblance to a Logitech webcam is purely coincidental. And notice the crossed zip ties there. We have a patent on that. And then, of course, the leash. And as you can tell, it's not wireless because it's a leash. Come on. Oh, this is just too funny. This is just too funny. Oh, sometimes I just tickle myself. Okay, let's see. Let's finish show notes. We've got a few minutes here. You guys talk among yourselves. Just teasing. Funny how NDI has caused all sorts of disruption, shall we say. I think it's disruption. I think it's shuffled the deck. And maybe it's leveled the playing field in some ways. It certainly means that you can do more than you ever could before. Yep. Okay, Lassie. Lassie has got me puzzled. Lassie. Could Lassie be Jill? Jill, would you be Lassie? Or I wonder if Lassie is Stephen. We will have to see. We will. We will. We might. We don't know. Oh my goodness. Let's see what we got right here. Let's move that out of the way just a tad. There you go. Merle, where's Merle? Merle, I was watching the show that you did with George Price. I haven't finished watching the whole thing. I got up to the point where you guys were talking about Linux, and that sort of lost me. So I vowed to come back and watch the rest of it later. But if you're still bumping into some difficulties with audio, shoot me an email or give me a call, and I'd be happy to help you work through it. I did notice when I installed version .9.2 today. Of course, you know me, I like to live dangerously. You shouldn't ever install a new version the day of a show. Yeah, there's Lassie giving us a hello. You should never install a new version the day of the show, but of course I do that to show you guys what terrible things can happen if you do. And one of the things that I immediately noticed is that my audio devices operated differently. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I do know that I had to go in and change some configurations in order to get it back the way I wanted to. So, hello, Martin S. Martin S., we're going to chat either in chat here or by email and set up a time when we can get together. Maybe a Skype call would be fun. So let me know. Let's see. Tommy, Merle, Martin, Scott, Jerry, Rudy, Edward, Martin, Giles, Chris, Dave, Lassie, Rich, and 422. Okay, got everybody. Got everybody. We're getting there. Oh, somebody just jumped in. Let's see. Maybe it's just my eyes. Oh, a double Martin S. That's what it is. Okay, very good. NDI compatible. What else is going on in the world of streaming that's interesting? I think it's interesting that, and this is just between you and me in the pre-show, but I think it's interesting that at the Infocom convention or trade show or whatever it is, out in Las Vegas last week, Wirecast introduced Wirecast version 7, which I thought, Wirecast version 7, they're going to be NDI. And they weren't. And I thought that would have been a great opportunity to release NDI and not have to wait until IBC in September. But I guess not. Maybe it's not ready, or maybe it's not even being worked on yet. I can't imagine not having NDI. Now, in some ways, Wirecast has got some elements themselves. Their desktop presenter does have the ability to send video, kind of like the desktop capture was in vMix before NDI, but it doesn't have. And maybe that's why they don't. Maybe that's why they don't think it's important to do, because of desktop presenter. Well, that probably makes sense. I mean, it's not critical. Although, you know, if you're in the software business, and the last thing you want to do is be perceived as being behind the others. Now, supposedly VidBlaster X, has got NDI in it. I think it just means that it can receive an NDI source. I don't think it's got a remote desktop capture kind of thing. All right, Edward says Wirecast does give customers free upgrades so they can charge again when they incorporate NDI. Is that what you meant to say? Tommy says, are you getting rain? We had rain this morning. Yeah, I know. It's dry all over. Lassie says, in the well. Okay. All right. Well, we get an idea from that who that is. Hello, Mike. Oh, okay. Edward says, Wirecast doesn't give customers free upgrades so they can charge again when they incorporate NDI. Well, I would assume the Wirecast upgrade is more reasonable than the old VidBlaster upgrade. The old VidBlaster upgrade was 50% of the retail cost. The Wirecast upgrade might be, $150, $250, depending on what level of Wirecast, what edition of Wirecast you bought in with. The the vMix upgrade is $60 no matter what you got and when you got it. You know, you can upgrade from version 1 to version 17 for $50. Same level. I mean, if you bought in at the pro level, the most expensive level, it still costs $50 to $60 to upgrade. So I think vMix is saying, hey, you know, we want everybody to stay as up to date as possible because it's only going to cost you $60 after a year. So you can update to the latest greatest. Now that policy could change if they have suddenly a new technology that costs them more to implement. I can see that. But I would want to reward my customer base, not punish my customer base, because I think in the long run that's going to make it successful. And also, you know, and are we getting? Yeah, we still got time. In the streaming world, we're still in what I would call the enthusiast phase, which is, you know, just like when iPhones and Samsungs, Galaxies, you know, first came out, they were the wars, the battles between the fanboys on both sides as to which was better. And, you know, the same Mac and PC battle that went on in early days. I haven't seen a good Mac PC argument in years. I hear grousing, but I haven't heard that argument. But we are still in that enthusiast days where enthusiasts are pushing forward these products. They're pushing forward on the marketing and they're pushing forward on the development, and they're real involved. I mean, you know, in the glory days of VidBlaster, the VidBlaster forum was the place to hang out, and you could get lots of great information there about streaming when there was very little information about and available. And then there were kind of the great tangles between VidBlaster aficionados and Wirecast aficionados. VidBlaster's sort of fallen by the wayside. Wirecast has sort of gone into almost a dormant mode. You know, they're not throwing out updates like they were. And vMix is kind of, you know, swerved in. And if this were a race, it kind of went around VidBlaster and then went around Wirecast and busted out in the front. And it's just going gangbusters. Hence that we've made the move to vMix. Let's see what's going on in the forum here. if Lassie is here, we need to know where Timmy is right now. Yeah, that's right. Well, Lassie will lead you to Timmy. All right, Merle says, I had no idea he was going to record that. Whoops. And it just went off the screen. I'm on version 77. For now, we'll wait a couple of days for update. Well, that's that. You know, stick with what works. You can't argue with that. Martin S. Chatwing is really sluggish to show my messages. I'm sorry. Sometimes Chatwing has heartburn. Rich is here. Hello. And Giles is having some problems with Chatwing, so it may be a over the pond issue. So let's see how we're doing here. Guest 180 is here. Welcome 180. Like the turnaround. Yeah, get it, 180. And did we lose Lassie? We did lose Lassie. So we'll be missing out on Lassie. Yeah, Chatwing is asleep. Yep, I can believe that. Oh, RJ's here. Welcome, RJ. Glad to have you. RJ's the one that, if you haven't seen it, go to the vMix forum, take a look. Put up the post about using a 4K camera and then using cuts from the 4K camera. In fact, I think we showed that on our show a couple of weeks back. All right, Gast 558 is going with the Roland V10 HD now. Okay. Don't know what that is, but I suspect it's a hardware switcher. There was one Roland I was reading about in Church Production magazine. What did I do with it? That looked like it was an audio and video switcher in the same box. That looked pretty cool. NDI compatible. Okay. Well, let's get this show on the road, shall we? So we're going to turn off that and turn off that, and we will go here. And Giles says it's losing some of the messages that he sends, and he's getting a 5-minute delay. I'm sorry about that. You might, I don't know if refreshing the browser will make a difference. Sometimes that can make a big difference. Bill is here. Welcome, Bill. Glad to have you. And anybody else pop in before we get this ball on the road? No? Okay. Alrighty then. Well, let's take a second, and I gotta do my green screen here. And can I show you what I'm doing? I don't really have a camera for it. Oh well. It's all right. Green screen. I have to cover up a desk over here because it has got all my work stuff on it. Let's see how we did with that. That might be good enough. What do we got here? Well, that did it. Good. All right. Oh, Jill's here. Welcome, Jill. Glad to have you. We are about to get started. I think we've got everything the way we want it. So, let's get on with the show. Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and you have arrived at Streaming Idiots. That's right. Your descent is complete. You've reached rock bottom. Welcome. If you're watching us live, delighted to have you. If you're watching us on YouTube Live and you want to pop over to easternshorebroadcasting.com right there, you can watch live and take advantage of the chat room. So we would encourage you to do that because there are a lot of crazy characters in there. Who knows what they're going to be saying next. If you're watching us on YouTube after the fact, we're delighted. We'd love to have you come watch us Wednesday afternoons, 3 o'clock Eastern Time Zone. And it's a lot of fun, and we hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel. What else do we need? Oh, full disclosures. We're on disclosures now. Eastern Shore Broadcasting is my company, and we are resellers for the vMix software, for VidBlaster X, for Magwell capture cards, for PTZ optics cameras, and we design and build custom PCs for streaming. So if you are interested in having in talking to somebody about a streaming PC. Maybe you don't want to have one built for you, but you just want to talk to somebody that knows. Shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, and we can find a time to chat, and I would love to chat with you. If you have been following this show, you know that I am none too happy with several companies who I will probably mention before the end of the broadcast, who are claiming that their products are NDI compatible. Well, we're here in the early days of NDI, and so in some ways the terminology is still being worked out. NDI, yeah, NDI is called is an acronym for Network Device Interface. It's a protocol and compression technique worked out by NewTek, the TriCaster folks, that allows a TriCaster or a PC with NDI software like vMix to be able to capture video from cameras that are attached to other PCs on the same network. It doesn't have to be video. Could be audio. Could be screenshot, could be a page from ProPresenter or from PowerPoint or something like that. That becomes an automatic input in your production PC as if that device, whatever it was connected to your production PC because it sees it on the network. Now you have to have a gigabit network for this to work, or at least to work well. I tried it with a 100 meg network and it was a little creaky, let's say. But what's a gig network? It's $50-$60 US, not a big deal. So that, in a nutshell, that's NDI. NDI was introduced officially at NAB back in April and has really taken the world by storm, or at least our little narrow niche of the world has really stood up and paid attention. As a result, a lot of, I won't say a lot, but a number of companies are saying, yes, we're releasing this product and it is NDI compatible. Well, boy, there's a throwaway word if there ever was one, because either it means something or it doesn't. I think it means something, and I want to put forth a definition on NDI compatibility. NDI, a product that is NDI compatible plugs into the network and is immediately available as a device on the network, whether it's audio or video or pages or whatever. If your camera is NDI compatible, then you plug it into the network and bing, it's available as an NDI source. If your, what other devices can we say? If your microphone is NDI compatible, you plug it into the network and it is available as an NDI resource without the benefit of anything else. You don't have to have NewTek's NDI app called Connect, which is a freebie, by the way, and will allow you to connect to non-compatible devices through your PC, or NDI Connect Pro, which will allow, I think, up to 4 different devices. The idea is, I mean, again, this is NewTek has thrown this great curveball, and it's a curveball in baseball. A curveball, if your batter, is not a good thing. But if you're the pitcher and you're throwing a curveball, it's great because you're going to be able to pop it in there and nobody's going to be able to hit it. In this case, NewTek has thrown a pitch that everybody's going to be able to hit out of the park, and that's a good thing. And that is the whole NDI concept, where it's wide open. Everybody can share everything. You don't have to have a NewTek TriCaster to take advantage of NDI, but you do have to have products or software that has got the NDI stuff built into it. For example, with vMix, vMix 17 is NDI compatible. That is, it works with NDI. It can see NDI resources. It can send its own resources as NDI sources to other PCs. It's really cool. It allows you to have, like we're doing today, my workflow today has changed with NDI, where my production PC that has all my cameras attached to it sends the output, audio and video, to a second PC over here. You can see it. In fact, that's the only reason why this PC is visible. And you can see me over there. Am I moving? Yeah, I'm moving. I got a wave on the other side. There we go. Whew! Heart failure there for just a second. So that PC, it's an Asus ROG laptop, that gaming laptop with the killer NVIDIA video capture, not video capture, but video card in it. And the video card does a lot of the processing and is able to allow me to stream and record on that PC without choking down this PC, especially when we bring in Skype guests and other type of guests. So for NDI, for something to be NDI compatible, it's got to work, in my mind, without a lot of helper. With vMix, when I install vMix 17, I don't have to go out to NewTek and download a bunch of different apps to make vMix 17 work with NDI. It works because it's got NDI built in. As I used to say with Intel, NDI inside. And I think it's deceptive marketing practices to say that your product is NDI compatible when it requires an app from NewTek to make it appear as a resource. And if you're going to do it with, let's say, NDI Connect Pro, it's going to cost you money to do that. Now, unless you're a company like Panasonic claiming that your cameras are NDI compatible and you're going to give away the NDI Connect Pro app with the camera, well, that's a different story. Then I guess you could say your camera is NDI compatible. It's a little gray area there, but unless you're giving that thing away, your camera's not NDI compatible because you can't plug it into the network and it works as a network, an SD, excuse me, I'm getting so excited. You can't plug it into the network and have it recognized immediately as an NDI source, then it's not NDI compatible. Now, I can see in the chat room that folks are talking about NDI a little bit, and that you may have heard about the NDI app that I've been working on. And I think we've got a good prototype, and I'm comfortable enough with the prototype to release it today and to talk about it today and to show you some. Oh, you know what? I have. Let's see. Bear with me for just a second because I recorded a video that I did earlier, but it's over on this laptop, and I need to make it available on this desktop. So let's do that just real quick. So just don't go get a refreshment, go to the fridge, get a soda. Pepsi's my favorite, but get whatever you like. I've got some pink lemonade right here. One sec. Don't go anywhere. Promise. This won't take long. Won't take long, I promise. It's got to be that one right there. Copy it. Thank goodness for Dropbox. Okay. So it's going to be uploading to my Dropbox here. We did a field test last week of this app, and then I did a what can I call it? I guess a beta test this morning. The app is called NDI Leash, L-E-A-S-H, NDI Leash. And NDI Leash allows my Jack Russell Terrier to become NDI compatible. So with NDI Leash, suddenly we have a compatible Jack Russell Terrier that can be seen on the network as an NDI source. Now the prototype, let's see if I can give you a camera version of the prototype here. The prototype looks like this, and any semblance to a Logitech webcam is purely coincidental. Of course, it has to have a leash portion to it. It's not wireless. The field test we did earlier in the week might have appeared to show a wireless camera, but that's not the case. You notice the patented use of zip ties as a cross to hold the NDI compatible leash device to the leash itself. So that's we're trademarking it. We have patent pending. So don't try to copy this at home. Let's see. And we'll take a look here and see if we've got, I apologize for not being better prepared. I thought I had all my ducks in a row, but let's see. Yeah, there we go. So the Jack Russell Terrier that I use is, the Jack Russell Terrier that I have is a guy named Rooney. And let's see, let's go find that thing again. Today is what? The 15th? Yeah, there it is. Just appeared in the Dropbox. There we go. So Rooney and I got together this morning and we did a test of the NDI leash. And so with no further ado, let's bring in Rooney. And this was recorded earlier. So so let's bring in Rooney. All right, I'm here with Rooney. Say hi, Rooney. And Rooney has got NDI leash attached to him. Yes, he does. And we're going to show you what Rooney sees. Let's see if we can click over to that. Rooney, this is the Rooney cam. Yep. And that's what Rooney's seeing right now is the studio. And this is an NDI compatible Jack Russell Terrier, indeed. And it was as simple as whatever Panasonic did. You know, they took a camera, they hooked up NDI Connect to it, and suddenly they had an NDI compatible camera. Well, I took a camera and I hooked it up to my Jack Russell Terrier, and suddenly I have an NDI compatible Jack Russell Terrier. So, you know, anybody can do it. And what it means is, I think, is that it has lessened, it's diluted the meaning. It's diluted the meaning. Now, this is just a quick video because I wasn't sure Rooney was going to cooperate during the live portion of the broadcast. So we'll let him get back to chasing rabbits and squirrels in the backyard. Right, buddy? Can you say goodbye to everybody? Yes? Yes. Oh, he's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. Okay. So we're going to go back to the live show. Well, maybe in a minute. Okay, and as you can tell, Rooney is indeed cut out for film. There's no doubt about it. I am his exclusive agent, so if you'd like to have Rooney in a commercial or a full-length feature film, you'll have to talk to me about it. And he's pretty well booked up, but we could probably squeeze you in if we had to. Anyway, I'm poking fun at the issue because sometimes the only way to deal with something that's serious, and I know this sounds terrible, but sometimes the best way to deal with it is poke fun at it and say, come on, guys, you know, take a look at yourselves. Do you want to be the kind of people that try to deceive people into buying your product? Or at least to deceive them into taking a look at your product, and then you give them the rest of the disclosure later, sort of a bait and switch, sort of like, well, it's not really NDI compatible. You have to have this special little leash thing attached to it in order to make it work. Well, no. The idea is, and I'm going to put forth the definition, if something is NDI compatible, then you plug it into the network, and it's immediately recognized, as an NDI source, whether it's video, audio, whatever it is, that it's available immediately as an NDI source. So that's it. I'm off my soapbox. If you'd like to, you can have one last look here at this is what NDI leash looks like when it's in the real life. That's a POV from NDI leash looking at my desktop. And again, one last look at the product. It is, again, patent pending, trademarked, copyrighted. and all that other good stuff. So don't you dare copy it. It will be, these will be shipping. Never mind. I can't even say that with a straight face. Oh my goodness. Yeah. What was it? Somebody says NDI. No dogs injured in the course of this broadcast. That's right. So NDI leash. I commend it to you, and with a shaking finger. Shame on you, those people that are not telling the truth and are being deceitful. You're really better than that. You know, you really are. And Edward's asking in chat, will Rooney be at the vMix booth at next year's NAV in Las Vegas? Well, Rooney and I had talked about going to IBC together, so we'll have to see. You know, Vegas is a little far away for that one, but we'll see. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Just this morning, vMix released another new update to vMix 17.92. So if you are following along with that and want to upgrade to the latest greatest, .92 is the latest greatest. I upgraded this morning, and you should never ever upgrade. I mean, I'm an exception to the rule because I'm trying to show you what all this stuff is all about, and when it goes bad, I want you to see it go bad because it went bad, and you need to know that things don't always work right. So you should never ever upgrade anything the day or even the day before a show, in my mind. If you haven't already, turn off Windows updates. Whew, my goodness, the last thing you want to do is be out in a remote location with a wireless device of some type, like a Verizon Wi-Fi card, and then have Windows suddenly decide it needs to download this 2 megabyte update before it's going to let you do anything else. So turn off Windows updates. Don't update Windows the day of a show or the day before a show. Don't update any other software. Don't install new hardware. Don't do anything dumb like me the day of a show. So this morning I found out that Windows 9.92 vMix.92 was available, and went out and grabbed it, put it on my production PC, put it on my streaming PC, and so wanted to see, how's it going to do. 9.2 was supposed to fix some bugs that were discovered in 9.1. Were the bugs introduced in 9.1 or were they introduced in 8.8? I don't know. Merle was saying earlier that he had problems with 8.8, and so he reverted back to 7.7. And he's waiting to see how the chips fall. And that's a good strategy. If you find a platform like that works for you, you may not want to update until there's a reason to, until there's a feature that you need that you didn't have, or if you find a bug in something or something's not working the way you think you should, you can update. Now you can always, what would we call it, backdate? You can always go back to a previous version. So if you're in vMix and you're up to .92 and it doesn't work for you and you want to go back to .88 because you know .88 worked, then by all means do it. Now remember in vMix that the desktop capture applications, there's one for PCs and one for Mac, that the numbering on those in terms of versions does not match with the main vMix product. So vMix main right now is at .92, and I think vMix desktop for PCs is maybe .76 or something like that. So don't be fooled by the dots. And they don't always update the desktop capture at the same time they update the others. If you're curious, go to forums.vmix.com to the vMix 17 changelog post, and you can follow all the updates to vMix as it goes along. Okay, coming up next week, we have the proprietor of Switchboard, who is Rudy Ellis, that's going to be our guest on the show. Rudy, you probably know Rudy. If you know Rudy, you know him from his days with Joycaster. Joycaster, JOICASTER.io, is that multi-streaming app where you could send one stream to them and they would disperse it out amongst everywhere. Well, they're still doing that, and Joycaster is one of their products, but now they've kind of come under the heading of Switchboard. And so Rudy will be here next week to talk about Switchboard and all the cool things that they're doing with that. So you really want to tune in. In fact, you want to tune in, I think, just to hear the story of where they came up with the Joycaster name. That's one of the best parts of the story. I like that. So Rudy will be here next week, and then the Lord willing and the creeks don't rise, Stephen Haywood from the Tech Buzz will be here June 29th on this show to talk about all the cool Tech Buzz stuff going on. If you haven't caught his show, broadcast now, it's similar to this show, except different. Yeah, it's different. It's on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock Eastern at thetechbuzz.net. So Rudy coming up next week, Stephen coming up the week after that, and then Bolly, you know, we may just have to have Rooney on again for a cameo appearance when we get into July. But we will deal with that when the time comes. Let's see what else is on the agenda here. I think we've got it. I think we got it nailed for today. If you have any questions and you think I can help, shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com. I'm always happy to answer quick questions, configuration questions, you know, streaming questions, bitrate questions, things like that. If we have to go deeper into it, and we're talking about spending hours and hours on that, then yeah, we'll have to charge you a consulting fee or something like that. But sometimes just a quick answer can get you pointed back in the right direction. I'm so proud of my folks at Simsbury Community TV station up in Simsbury, Connecticut. Today, I think, marks the day, or is it tomorrow? Today is the first day that they're making the switch over from their old antiquated system to the vMix custom PC system that I built for them a couple of weeks ago. They've got it all in place. They've got it installed. They've got it hooked up and working great, and they're making the switch over. They're a little nervous. They said, anytime you make a switch over with a new piece of equipment, you're not sure. But I talked to the head of their equipment committee yesterday, and we went through a couple things. And I think the biggest question he had was getting some speakers to play audio. And it was just a matter of reconfiguring the audio device so that it was pointing the audio in the right direction. So things are going well with them. I'm super proud of them and can't wait to see some of the great things they're doing. We'll be putting together, I hope, if they'll help me, a case study on what they did and how they did it, because it's a great example of how you can really benefit from a streaming PC that's designed for your use, with future in mind as well. But if you're buying an off-the-shelf box from Dell or from Best Buy, you're dealing with whatever that is. And if you're buying an off-the-shelf box from TriCaster or one of the others out there like that, you're dealing with the limitations that they have built into it. But having a custom machine, probably for less money, can be a great solution. And that's what I do. And so I'm happy to help you guys with it, or if just to point you in the right direction. I think we've come to the end of our time. It's been a treat having you with us. Actually, it's been a treat having you. Yeah, it was us. It was me and Rooney. Rooney's not here right now, but if I can speak for Rooney, he'd say he really had a lot of fun with you guys too, and he appreciated. In fact, I'm going to take the chat room that I'm watching right here. I'm going to make a copy of it and read it to him later so that he can enjoy it, because he appreciates those kind of comments. Oh my goodness, I can't help it. I'm sorry. It's been a great day. It's been a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube and we're not live, my condolences, but go ahead and subscribe, because it's probably this weird every week, and you might even learn something. If you're watching live, hang around. I do understand that we have some doggy treats for our snacks in the post show, so we'll see what we can do with that. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time around. Thanks for watching. All right. Whew. I hope I recorded that show. Who's beating up on Steven in there? Tommy is. Rooney looks more intelligent than Steven. Well, I'll tell you what, Rooney looks more intelligent with a lot of folks I see. Yen's turned in too late. Oh, golly. Well, YouTube is going to have it. I mean, when we stop streaming, you actually, if you're watching us on YouTube, I think you can scrub back and watch the show again. But you'll miss all this post-show excitement. All right, let me go back and see what I missed. I got to run this thing back here for just a second. Giles was going to keep quiet and enjoy the show, with the emphasis on keep quiet. Yeah. Tommy's getting a 15-second delay between the pop-out chat and Tom's screen. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. And Dave is too. Paul Richards was here. Welcome, Paul. Tommy says that Paul has to bring refreshments. That's right. He was the last one in. What does NDI look like? Do you glue it on? Is it a dongle, an SDI card? What does it look like when it's applied to the device? Jill, you're great. And Jim's here. Hey, Jim. All right. Tommy says he's work compatible. Paul has some NDI compatible refreshments. Jill needs a radio frequency protection. Oh my goodness. No lizards were harmed. That's right. Rooney. Good place for a commercial. Let's see. NDI made the cam on the go-go. I just had an image in my mind of Tommy running around behind Rooney holding a laptop trying to keep up. Yeah, really. NDI leech, bridging the gap between dog and video. Need to keep Tom on a shorter leash. How many feet do you suppose we have between webcam and laptop? Actually, I had an extension cord. No dog injured. Okay, looking at the camera, seeing a fire hydrant, no canines hurt. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's Rooney. Rooney's like, do I really have to be here? What type of dog food does he want in his dressing room? Oh, he doesn't want dog food. He wants people food. NDI Academy 4, that's great. NDI sold with no dogs included. That's true. You have to bring your own dog. It's a BYOD. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's great. All right, who else popped in when we weren't looking? Jens is here. Sasha's here. Kent, welcome. Kent here. Rafael. Charles, glad you could make it. And I think Rod wasn't here before. All right. Don't know if you've been talking about it, but XSplit is now NDI compatible. All right. Well, hopefully they're more compatible than you know who. Yep. I just, trust is a. I was going to say it's a commodity that's hard to find, but it's not a commodity at all. It's something that is essential to daily life, I think. I can't imagine going through the day without trusting people around me to tell me the truth, to look out for my best interest. Maybe I live in a crazy world, but I expect that from people around me, that they are going to deal with me in a way that is honest and full of integrity. And less than that, I don't find acceptable. And, when people try to pull a fast one and say, oh, well, it's NDI compatible, which may not have any meaning at all, but the implied meaning is that it'll work with NDI, when it doesn't necessarily work with NDI the way you expect it would. So that's my beef. I want people to be honest and straightforward and full of integrity, and that's my expectation. And you don't get what you don't expect. So I'm going to expect it. And, maybe Panasonic will come out and say, golly, folks, we're really sorry. We did mislead you. We made you think this was this thing and not that thing, when really it's that thing, and we're working on making it this thing, but we're not there yet. So, Mike says, how interesting. Been here for the show, and now my hello went to the chat room. Yeah, I don't know what's going on at Chatwing today. Chatwing is not having a good day, apparently. The stream works great to Austria. That's good. It just dawned on me that YouTube doesn't always make it to Germany. So I wonder if any of my friends in Europe can help on that, because maybe I need to drop an extra stream out there somewhere so folks in Germany can watch, because I know we have a couple German viewers. In fact, maybe next week, Rudy Ellis with Switchboard can talk about that a little bit too, of some strategies on how to get to some places. Chris says YouTube live here in Germany is okay. Okay, good deal. Thank you. And obviously the delay between you and me is not too great, because you popped back on that one pretty quickly. I appreciate that. NDI compatible. Woo! Woo! Okay, well, it's kind of a anticlimactic after all the preparation with Rooney. Oops, I had his collar upside down, and that's what he looks like. Do we have a picture we can show of his, in case, because Jens missed it? That is the app. Actually, it's not really an app, it's a device. It's a device, NDI leash. And obviously this is the leash portion, and the NDI portion is attached to the collar. And the fact that it might have some similarities to a Logitech webcam is just a coincidence. Don't let that coincidence fool you. But it's very effective, and Rooney did a great job demonstrating how it worked. In fact, since Jens was not here, can we do let's just do a little, we'll give Rooney a chance to have a little cameo here, and we'll let Jens see it. This is Rooney from earlier. All right, I'm here with Rooney. Say hi, Rooney. And Rooney has got NDI leash attached to him. Yes, he does. And we're going to show you what Rooney sees. Let's see if we can click over to that. Rooney, this is the Rooney cam. Yep. And that's what Rooney's seeing right now, is the studio. And this is an NDI compatible Jack Russell Terrier, indeed. And it was as simple as whatever Panasonic did. They took a camera, they hooked up NDI Connect to it, and suddenly they had an NDI compatible camera. Well, I took a camera and I hooked it up to my Jack Russell Terrier, and suddenly I have an NDI compatible Jack Russell Terrier. So, anybody can do it. And what it means is, I think, is that it has lessened, it's diluted the meaning. It's diluted the meaning. Now, this is just a quick video because I wasn't sure Rooney was going to cooperate during the live portion of the broadcast. So we'll let him get back to chasing rabbits and squirrels in the backyard. Right, buddy? Can you say goodbye to everybody? Yes? Yes. Oh, he's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. Okay. So we're going to go back to the live show. Well, maybe in a minute. Oh, good old Rooney. Yeah, I should have showed this off like this. That would have solved the problem of any copyright infringement or trademark problems. But thank you, Mike, for suggesting that. I'll think about that next time. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's see. Maybe Daily Motion for Germany. Ask him. That would be Rudy. Looks like Mike's chats are coming in out of order. Ask him to set up a multi-stream out. That would be interesting. Jill says a mere small piece of electrical tape. That's right. It'll keep me from getting sued, maybe. But I'll touch base with Rudy and see if maybe we can't do the whole show through switchboard, and then we'll just promote it and say that you can watch it on all these different channels. Typically, I know some of the other shows like the Tech Buzz will do multiple channels. I've never seen a big advantage to that, so I haven't done it, other than it's kind of a interesting kind of thing to do. And back in the day when people started first doing it, they were setting up multiple PCs and they had multiple internet connections in order to have enough bandwidth to restream all these different to all these different destinations. And now with companies like Switchboard and Joycaster, which is a product of Switchboard, they can do it all in one. So you're sending out one stream. Like today we're sending out just the single stream to YouTube, and they're re-encoding it. I think anywhere from 240p to 720p. 720 is what we're sending, and they're just re-encoding it to a lesser resolution, so that folks that don't have quite as good a connection can watch. Is there an Android app that will allow you to use a cell phone as an NDI camera? Not yet. There's an iPhone app that does that. Sienna.tv, I believe, or maybe siennatv.com. But they've done a lot of apps for NDI already, and but most of them have been Apple related. But yeah, you can use the IP webcam, and that's essentially the same thing. It's on the network. I don't know that there's really any advantage to doing it through NDI. But yeah, a phone cam, I agree, would be great for weddings and other live events, because it does have that POV. You could use the NDI leash. Aha! You'd have to use the wireless version, of course. Oh my goodness. Too funny. Too funny. I just killed myself. One stream is okay for small stuff, but for big stuff, you need fullbacks. Don't know what fullbacks are. Oh, fallbacks. Fallbacks. Okay, gotcha. RJ says I use IP webcam as a biz card reader for my chamber events. Giles says I tried IP webcam on a high-end phone and didn't really get the frame rate. Yeah, me either. I tried it via VLC with the NDI plugin. That's interesting. And Scott says GoPro makes a wireless GoPro for broadcast. That would be a good option. The nice thing about the phone is, you've already got it. It's right there. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we need to probably turn down the volume on this thing. Forgot to do that. But that's a good idea, RJ. Yep. I mean, whether it's NDI or whether it's just over the network, the trick is to get it in with as good a video quality as possible, resolution and frame rate. And, you know, whatever the method is, that may be it. Excuse me. All right, Rich says the Sienna app is $50 for iPhones. And I also had heard that the most recent NDI update from NewTek had knocked that app out. So you want to check if you're interested in that app and make sure it hasn't been knocked out. I mean, make sure they fixed it, because it, you know, some tweaks to the NewTek NDI undid it, and it has to be done again. All right. Let's see. Anybody else pop in while we weren't looking here? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. All right. Ardo says, yeah, that's why business cards, because I don't need a high frame rate. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. And it may be that Bill tested Sienna with vMix .9.1 yesterday, and it was okay. Good deal. Good deal. Thank you. You know, the frame rate thing may be a function of the camera's, excuse me, of the phone's video camera, more so than it is a network thing. That the camera just, you know, can't rebroadcast by any means as much data as it can record. Anyway, there was also some good discussion on the vMix forum early this week about, and I think RJ, you were a part of that, was on using Chromecast as a part in that process. Sasha's asking what the max frame rate and resolution with the Sienna iPhone app is. Anybody know? I do not. I'm not an iPhone guy. Sorry. Okay, a little pause there to collect our collective thoughts. All right, Giles says it was smooth on the phone but not on the PC. It was a 5.4 gig network. Might try it with wireless in. It could be good. Please let us know what you find out. Bill says he'll have to test. Unsure. Looking only at the image. I'm not quite sure what Bill's got going there. Looks like there's a word or two that got left out. But hey, you know, that's okay if you want to leave words out. I don't have a problem with it. And Giles is going to try it right now. All right. slider on the app changes the resolution. Ah, okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. That way, you know, if you have a slower network, you can use a lower resolution. Could you use the DJI Osmo and Sienna on your phone at the same time? Tried the Chromecast, but had problems with DHCP decoding and encoding, but got around it. All right. Right-click on vMix also for lower res source. Right. Got it. Well, guys, other than a show dog, that's all I had today. Rooney was kind of my big thing, and all my creativity went into figuring out what to do with him. Although, did I could. Let's try it. This was the field test. Now, I have to admit, that wasn't really Rooney. And that really wasn't NDI Leash. That was a video I lifted off the internet. But we did post it on YouTube as if it was a field test. Bye, Bill. Great having you. Thanks for coming. Does Madgwell have any new NDI devices? No. Although Martin K., who is signed into chat, but I haven't seen him comment, so I don't know if he's gone out for a spot of tea. Martin has developed some apps, NDI apps for Madgwell, and he's sent them to me, and I don't happen to have a Madgwell card in stock right now, so I can't check them, but when Madgwell was temporarily out of their quad, the ProCapture Quad HDMI, which is what I sell a lot of. So we've got some coming. Scott says he's getting trained on an IP video router system this summer. Ooh. All right, Chris. Great having you. Thanks for tuning in. Scott, that sounds fun. It does. Martin S., if you want to try to hook up by email or some other method, I can reconfigure my studio here and be ready to do that. Well, it's late for you, though, isn't it? You want to try to do something tomorrow or Friday? Jerry, that's a good question. I couldn't find the live stream earlier. I don't know where it is. But the recording of the live stream that includes the pre-show and the post-show will be on the Eastern Shore Broadcasting YouTube page as soon as we click the end button. All right, Martin says now is okay. Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, gents, let's fold our tents here, and I'm going to go help Martin with the audio controlled switcher software, and then we will meet back here again next week to talk with Rudy Ellis and the switchboard folks. So till then, happy streaming, and behave. And oh, the other thing I will mention as we go out is that I'm just going to pop the starting soon thing here on the end, because I know it's, if you had any buffering, it's going to take a few minutes for that buffering to catch up. So till next week, we'll see you later.